So I think we'll wait till about 2:03 just to give a couple more people a chance to join in, and then we'll go ahead and get started. I will note that we have a Q&A button, so if there are any questions you have, during our discussion, and we'll certainly open it up for you guys to ask questions at the end as well. But if something comes up while we're talking, please feel free to put your question in the Q&A box, and we will be sure to answer it in real time. Hi, Yoda. Welcome. We're just waiting a couple more minutes for people to join, and we'll get started here shortly. Thanks for joining us today. Alrighty, well, I think we're going to go ahead and get started. So I just wanted to say, thank you very much for joining us today. This is our first webinar that we're hosting for Sauna Health. My name is Paula Searcy. I am our VP of Marketing and Sales here at Sauna Health. With me today, I also have our fabulous customer success team. I have both Aaron and Jocelyn, of which I'm sure you guys have already talked to them, and certainly they will be helping to answer questions both today and in the future as you guys have them. What we wanted to do was give you a little bit of an overview of our updates to the Sauna Relief app that we've recently launched, show you how to answer some of the questions you may have, how to use the app in a better capacity to optimize your wellness journey. We do have a Q&A section on the left-hand bar of this webinar. So if you have a question at any time, please feel free to go ahead and put your question in there, and one of us will be sure to see it, and we'll make sure to answer the question for everybody. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. So I think, we've had several of you as customers for quite a while, and you've been working with our existing app. We wanted to build some new additions to the app. So here's an overview of, come on, there we go. Oops, too far. Sorry, there we go. So here's just kind of a high-level overview of some of our new screens. And once we go through kind of this high level and talk a little bit about some of the changes, I'm going to go in and share the app live with you guys so you can kind of see how this works in real time, what you can look like, all of those types of details. So what are some of the key updates that we've made in this iteration of the app? Well, the first one is our Sauna Score, and we're really excited about this score. I want to tell you a little bit about what the score is, how you can customize it, and how it's really going to help you on your wellness journey. So the score is comprised and calculated based on 4 different parameters. 3 of the parameters are those metrics that you're using when you input on your single session, and we'll look at what this looks like. But when you put in how you feel with your pain, mood, and sleep, those are part of the calculation. The other part of the calculation is actually your heart rate. So for many of you, you may have wondered, there's a little button kind of in the center forehead of your device. What is that? So that's actually an HRV sensor, heart rate variability sensor, that will track your heart rate and how it changes over time. So the Sauna Score itself uses that heart rate sensor and your heart rate itself and what it does as it rests through the process, and it helps to calculate your Sauna Score. We recognize that each person's individual wellness journey needs to be customized and personalized. And so one of the areas that we're offering with that is the ability to customize the importance of each of those three metrics. So pain, sleep, and mood. You can decide, and we'll show you what this looks like within the app, what's most important to you and on what level. And the Sauna Score will take those specific weights into consideration, and you can track and trend over time how you're doing. We'll go into a little bit more detail when we get into the app. Some of the other advancements and improvements that we've made is, as you can see on the screen, you've got a new view for progress, a new view for sessions. There's a little green dot under each session that's going to pop up a screen such as this that's going to go ahead and show you not only how each session was that day, but if you've included one of our other new features, which is called journaling. So with each session that you run, you can put notes in or comments in that are important to you about what's going on that day to help you continue to track and trend how your wellness journey is going, and if there are things that you want to call out about how that day is going. And you can see how many sessions you run in a day. We also have the ability to look at your averages. So how are you doing with your last session versus your last 7 days? Are you doing better, worse? One of the other things you'll notice with each of these bars as well is that we now have metrics and the ability to tell what is good and bad. So when you're putting in each of your scores, you're going to always be focused on whether it's on a positive side or a negative side. All of our trends are going to go up in the positive direction. So you're going to want to continue to see, as you use your Sauna device, a positive trend going up. The other key area that we've made impacts and updates to is our tracking and trending of metrics. And so we have the ability to look at not only our Sauna Score, but all of those metrics that we've just talked about for pain, sleep, and mood on a daily, weekly, and monthly perspective. So you can see overall how your trends are going. So with that, what I'd like to go ahead and do is take you into the Sauna app. I believe all of you have probably downloaded it, but if there are any challenges or questions that you're having with that, please feel free to let us know, and we can also work with you outside of this webinar to support any of those challenges if you have any. All righty. So this is the new view and an interactive view of our Sauna Relief app. So you can see here that we have our Sauna Score. The Sauna Score is going to be updated every morning, somewhere around 1 to 2 a.m., with all of the data from your sessions from the last day. So if you run one session, it's going to be just based on that one session. If you run 3 sessions, it's going to be based on accumulation of all of that data from the previous day for your Sauna Score. So when you see it saying it was updated on December 3rd, that means it was updated on the 3rd with data from the 2nd. So it's really important to note that every time you run a session, you won't have an updated Sauna Score. It will be based on the previous day's updates. As I scroll down, we'll look at progress. And you can see on this page, and this is all under the My Relief tab, it's all going to be your data from your most recent week, and it's a rolling week. So you'll continue to see a 7-day average here. And this is really a good snapshot of how you're doing overall. So the points that will be shown on the graph are going to be an average throughout that day. We wanted the ability for you to be able to focus on what's most important, though. So if pain is not something that's important to you, you can deselect that and you would only look at your trends for sleep and mood, for example. Or if I didn't even care about that, I was really focused on just sleep, I could look at that. Hi, Yoda. Thanks for that question about how do you get a Sauna Score. We will go over that in just a moment to make sure that we can get that answer for you. So just give me a second and I'll show you how to answer that. Thank you for the question. So you can, as we were talking about, we can go ahead and toggle between each of the scores. You will see lines connecting each of these dots as you have more days. And so that will help you to see your trends on a 7-day view. We also have the averages, which is coming, there we go. It's a little bit lag, sorry about that. So we also have averages. So the line is going to be your 7-day average, and the circle or the dot on the line is going to be where your last session was when you ran it. Since there was only one session run in this profile over the last week, that is why they are overlapping, but you will likely see a difference when you run more than one session. The other area is sessions. And so this is a change in the view of what you've probably seen before. So in the previous version of the app, there was a green box around the date. We've updated that so that you can go ahead and there will be a little green dot below every day where you run a session. And if you want to see the data of that session, you would click on it. It's going to pop up where you rated each session. So I only ran one session yesterday, or Monday rather. So that is the data that it's showing. And I didn't include a journaling feature, but I'll show you how you can do that. If you ran 3 sessions, you would be able to see these trending charts for every single session. The other cool feature here is you can see by month your total sessions. So one of the things that we highly recommend for everyone is that consistent daily use is really important to get the optimal relief that you're looking for. And so this is another way to be able to show you how many sessions you've run in that month to continue to help you with this journey. I'm going to move over to what we now call my progress page. It used to be called the Me page. We've kind of reformatted the way the app is structured a bit and some of the details so we can really show you all about your progress. So I'm going to go ahead and answer Yoda's question now about how we calculate the Sauna score. So with the updates and the way that the app came, you were supposed to have gotten a prompt to go ahead and fill out your weights for what's most important to you with those 3 metrics of sleep, pain, and mood. Unfortunately, that had a little bit of a hiccup for us, and so there will be a new update coming out probably next week that will push that notification. But if aside from that, if you ever need to change your settings, or in this case for Yoda, where this is how you're going to set it up so you will start to get a score, you can click on Edit Settings. So we've built a scale of 0 to 5, with 0 being not important to you and 5 being the most important. And you can go ahead and adjust here your preferences to whatever the most important is. So if sleep quality is not that important to you, but your mood is really important to you, you can adjust them. If everything is equally important to you, you can always select the same number for each of them, and that will ensure that they have an equal weighted value in calculating your Sauna score. Because the push notification didn't get pushed to all of you, currently I believe if you go into this edit settings, it's going to show 0 for all of these values. And so in order to get a Sauna score to start showing up on a daily basis, you'll need to go in here and edit it. You can note at the top, the last time that it was edited was December 2nd. So I'm going to save it and it's going to get edited here again. We felt it was really important to ensure that you have the ability to edit these though. So in case something happens in your life, and, to start with, mood was really not important for you, but, on average, sleep and pain were really important for you. And then all of a sudden something happens and it really disrupts your life. And now you're really wanting to improve your wellness journey and focus on your mood. This would allow you at any point to change these metrics and then reset your baseline for your Sauna score as you continue to improve. As we go back to my progress page, you'll again see your overview, just like you do on the My Relief page. And you have the ability to go ahead and see both week and month views of your Sauna score. Here you can see that my Sauna score has pretty much stayed the same over the last week because I haven't really run many sessions. So it's going to continue to pull across a score. So if I ran my last session was on December 2nd, and I've now since run a couple of sessions since then. I haven't run any sessions since then. It's going to leave my score where it was at the last point and continue on that trajectory until I run my sessions again. Obviously, running it more consistently than I have in this profile would be recommended. This is a test profile, so that is why you don't see as many sessions in here. Whereas I have a personal profile I use on a more regular basis for the device, so I can keep track of all that's important to me. I can also, in my month view, change it. So if I really want to go look at November, for example, obviously there's not data in here because I wasn't running under this session, but I could go back in months and look at the time on when I had a session and the data that was there. And then week, I can choose my week. It's always going to be a Monday through Sunday week that it shows up when you pick the week. But if I wanted to look at, the 23rd, I would, select that and it would show me that week. I'm sorry, it's Sunday through Saturday, 22nd through the 28th. So if you pick any date within that week, it's going to pull up the entire week so you can see the week's data. In addition to the Sauna score and having its prevalence within my progress page, we've also improved our insights. So we're going to look at the week. And you can see I'm starting to see trends. If we go to month, you can see overview of my line starting to create of running sessions on the 2nd and then running again sessions on the 7th. If I wanted to see my data for the day, I can click on the day and there is my data. So this would show me my specific results. The reason why that notice popped up for the day was there was no data available was I was on a day where I hadn't run a session. So you'll see a notification if there are no sessions run that day that there is no data on the day. And then you can continue to track your week. And again, this runs from Saturday to Sunday. The week and the month view have the same toggling features. So you can look at whatever metrics are most important to you and have that be the view that you're reviewing over time. And the same would be true for the month view. One of the things you'll notice about the My Progress page is that your profile is no longer listed here. And we moved that section to our More tab. So if you click on the 3 dots, you're going to have your profile, which is the top thing. And we've moved that over from the former Me page, as well as all of the other information. The profile will have all of your information listed. It's also going to now show your email that you use to create the account. So we recognize that there were some instances where people forgot what email they may have used to create their app account. This is the ability for you to go ahead and know what that email is. If you ever need to log out, we always recommend you reconfirming what your email was before you log out so that you can use that same email to log back into your account. If you ever need to edit it, you can always hit edit and it will pop up that information you filled out when you created your profile at the beginning. So if you ever have a change in phone number or a change in address or anything of that nature, you can go ahead and edit that in here. Alrighty. In the More tab, the other things that we have still here, and there's some really good details, are product support. It will link right to our team and the information, which we'll also share in the chat feature of how to contact us, but our email and our phone number if you ever need to reach out to us. FAQs, this takes you right to our website. We've actually recently reorganized our FAQs to help categorize them a little bit better. So if you have any questions, feel free to review that, or reach out to us at any point. We're happy to answer questions for you. I think one of the areas people don't always recognize is the My Sauna device details. And so I wanted to cover a little bit about what's in there. So when you click in there, you're going to see the version of the firmware. That's the actual software that's on the sauna mask. It's going to have your device name. So when you Bluetooth your sauna mask to your phone, that's the Sauna ID that you're seeing. You're also going to have your app version, and we will, continue to communicate about additional versions of the app. I think the other area that's really important is the disconnect sauna device. So should you ever need to disconnect your sauna device, which means basically that you're unconnecting the memorization of that Bluetooth, this is where you would do it. So you would click the disconnect button. It's going to show that you can disconnect it. You would press disconnect my sauna. It will ask you to confirm, are you sure you want to do that? And you would press confirm. When you do that, you see this screen changes and it no longer has memorization of the sauna device. So when I need to run a session, I'm going to go ahead and re-Bluetooth that. We have seen with some phone versions that this is as the app has been updated, that this has been a bit of a challenge. So we recommend that if you're having issues connecting with your Bluetooth, that would be kind of the first step to take, is go ahead in the app, disconnect your sauna device, and then I'll show you the process for reconnecting it as we go through how a session runs and some of the additional information in a session. So I'm going to go back to our My Relief page now. And as you can see, it says it looks like we haven't connected a sauna device. I'm going to go ahead and turn on my sauna device, and it's going to flash my amber lights, so I know it's been turned on. I'm going to connect the device, and it's going to walk me through these 5 steps. So I'll hit next. I have turned my Bluetooth on, so I'm going to hit next. It's going to search for my Bluetooth, my device. There's my sauna device. I hit the sauna. It's going to connect it. And now it's ready to run a session. So now I'm ready to start my relief. So I'm going to go ahead and start that relief so you can see that process. We hit start your relief. So this is one of our other areas that we really wanted to improve the experience for everyone. So in the past, it used to be that there was simply a line and there was no indicators as to where you were on that line. You kind of had to estimate, am I about halfway? If I want to go halfway, where do I sit? We've put reference marks on these lines to help answer where you're at. When the circles are open, that means that you have not provided a value for it. We've heard for some people, they don't even want to move it because, you know what, their mood's great today, or, they're not really focused on pain. They don't have pain, and so they don't really want to move it. We've updated the way this works now so that if you move it or you just touch it and it fills in the dot, then that means that you've recorded a value, and it's much easier to record a value on either end of the spectrum. So if you really are excellent today or you really are terrible, it's going to move, you can move it all the way to the far end and capture on the spectrum. You'll note that the line doesn't light up like it used to, and that's really so you can define a specific point on the line of where you feel today. I'm going to go ahead and say pain's not important to me, and so I'm not going to fill anything out for it, and I'm going to move my mood here, and I'm going to say my sleep quality was okay last night, but I had children waking me up at 3 a.m., so it wasn't the best. now this is the other area we talked about, journaling. So this is a section, it's an open text. It's going to pop up your keyboard and you can type in any notes about how your day is going, what's important to you, because we recognize that these 3 metrics are not the only thing controlling your daily life, and that there's often much more complexities, especially in a COVID situation that we're dealing with right now, with COVID fatigue and having kids at home and, just situations that we haven't experienced in the past, that there's just a lot more going on. So this is an opportunity for you to put in, didn't sleep great. So I can add this into my session. And now I'm going to press continue. Oh, we've added a pop-up here because we really do want you to fill out the surveys, because it's going to help you with the most optimal relief in filling them out. So we recommend that you do fill each out. If you decide, I really don't want to answer the surveys, we totally get that. And you can simply press continue. But if you're like, oh man, I meant to fill out that pain score and I really am in pain, you can press adjust and come back to the screen. And then I can fill in the dot and say, I have some pain, whatever that may be. And then I'm going to go ahead and press continue again. And it's going to bring up the countdown timer, which you're all familiar with and has been typical. So we'll be counting down. And then as soon as the countdown starts, it's going to go ahead and the mask starts to run. And you can see the light amber lights are starting to go on. And obviously at this point, you would have the mask over your eyes with your eyes closed, the headphones in your ears, hopefully sitting back, relaxing, and taking a moment of time for yourself to enjoy your sauna session. One of the things that we did also change was, if you complete your session, at the end of your session, it's automatically going to pop up this save or discard. I'm going to stop it early. So I'm going to press the stop button. And if you ever need to do that, that's no problem. So it shows me, do I want to save, discard, or cancel? Save would be, I'm stopping my session. Discard would be, I'm stopping my session, but I don't want that data added to my profile and tracking. Or cancel would allow you to continue the session. This pop-up of save or discard without the cancel comes up automatically at the end of your session when you run it this time. So any new sessions, that will automatically come up for you and help to ensure that you have your session data paired with your survey data. So we're going to go ahead and save it. And then it's finishing up, and you can see now that it needs to start a scan, which means it's going to have to be power cycled or turned off and back on again if you want to run another session. But you can see today is Wednesday, and I just ran a session. And here in my trending chart is the scores that I put in for today. So automatically your scores are going to come up. You won't have a new Sauna score, though, again, until tomorrow morning for the sessions I ran today. So that will only be updated, and it should be updated somewhere around 1 to 2 a.m. So probably while you're asleep overnight. As you can see, when I go to my sessions tab, my total sessions has now increased to 3. And I can click on Wednesday, and it's going to pop up for me my ratings and then any notes or comments that I had for that specific session. So with that, I wanted to go ahead and open up to any additional questions that you all may have. I'm going to go ahead and allow you all to speak. So I'm going to unmute all of you. So if you have questions that you would like to ask, let us know, or feel free to put them in the chat and we will also answer them that way.
So Paula, Yoda has a question for us.
Okay, great.
She's asking, how do you know your HRV?
Great question, Yoda. So at this point, the heart rate and the HRV is actually part of the device, but it's not reported out. I'm going to mute for just a sec. Sorry. It's so in the background, the device is calculating using your heart rate and your heart rate variability. So you're not going to see at this point HRV data. It is an ongoing advancement that we're looking at, how we can share some of that and have it be meaningful with you. But as of today, it is not available within the app. It's something we have roadmap for the future. So you're not going to, so Yoda's additional question was, so there's no way to know it. So with the Sauna devices that exists today, there is nothing that will report out what your HRV is. I know there are some people that have used other wellness devices as part of their process, and we'll be able to find out HRV through that. But with the Sauna devices that sits today, you won't know it. You will get indications of how it is, though, through the Sauna Score. So the better your resting heart rate is, which is being recorded through that HRV sensor, the more improved you'll see that trend go for your Sauna Score when you're looking at your My Progress tab. So you'll see this chart continue to increase closer to 100. 0 is less ideal, 100 is the most ideal, and so you'll continue to see that improve as you are more relaxed with your heart rate and some of that HRV data that's being incorporated into that score. Great question, Yoda. Thank you. Do we have any other questions?
So we do have another question, Paula. The question is, what should I do if I cannot connect my device to my app?
Great question. So I think there's a couple things that we need to understand, and we're always here 7 days a week, 10 to 11 hours a day to support your efforts. I think the first thing we want to go ahead and do is do your disconnect and reconnect. So sometimes we just need to kind of refresh that Bluetooth connection and not have it continue to be memorized. So if you go ahead, as we talked about a little bit earlier, and go to the My Sauna or to the More page and then My Sauna details, you can, again, disconnect your Sauna device. So that would be our recommendation for step one. If that doesn't seem to work, our next recommendation would be to go ahead and log out of the device. And again, make sure that you look at your profile to know exactly what your email is that you use so you can remember to log back in. But go ahead and log out and log back in. We know that there have been a few instances where the app automatically updated and you were not forced to log out. So we recommend kind of refreshing the software through the app by logging out and logging back in. Another great step after that, if it's still not working, is to go ahead and reboot your phone. I think one of the things that is really important to note too is when you are downloading the app or a new app comes through, and it will depend whether it's Android or Apple, but you will probably see a pop-up that comes up that says, do you want to allow Bluetooth or do you want to allow location services? And location services tends to be Android devices, more specifically. So for location services, both of those need to be turned on to make sure that you can continue to connect your device. And so even if your Bluetooth in your general settings is turned on, you want to go to your app settings, look for your Sauna Relief app, and then make sure in there that Bluetooth is turned on and location services is turned on. If there are any other issues, feel free to go ahead and let us know, and we would be happy to walk through it with you. But those are some of the main questions or steps to take. So Yoda, I see that when you go to Sauna Score, and I'm assuming, are you going to the My Progress page? Sauna Score, there should be an edit settings under Sauna Score or something of that nature. Do you see that screen at all? Great. I'm glad you were able to find that. And then from the My Progress page, you can click on the edit settings again, and that will bring up your ability to fill out the scores here. Is there any other questions? Alrighty. Well, I think, we really appreciate you taking time to learn more about the Sauna app. We will be sending a recording of the app, of this webinar, out to everybody after, and we'll be happy to answer any questions. Again, our customer success team, both Erin and Jocelyn, are available 7 days a week from 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. Mountain Time, and happy to answer your questions. You can reach out to us by phone, by email at our email, or we are also on our chat. So if there's any questions that come up, you can always go to our website, sauna.io, and you can chat live with us at that time too, and we're happy to answer your questions. So I want to thank you all for attending today, and look forward to having the opportunity to share more about Sauna in the future with these types of events, and appreciate your attending today. So hope everyone has a great day, and thank you.